Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Kate Kuhns, and I'm the Executive Director of Stanford Global Studies. On behalf of SGS, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our 2021 Annual Symposium for the Education Partnership for Internationalizing Curriculum, or EPIC program. Each year, we hold a symposium to celebrate the accomplishments of our amazing EPIC fellows who hail from community colleges around California and beyond. Our efforts would not be possible without funding from the Department of Education under the auspices of Title VI of the Higher Education Act. This is our 9th symposium. As with last year, we are holding it virtually, but do hope that next year we will be able to resume meeting in person. We have a variety of interesting projects to share with you today, but first we will start with our keynote speaker, and I'd like to welcome Elizabeth Seinzackerman, Associate Director for the Center for Latin American Studies, to make the introductions.
Thank you, Kate. Good morning and welcome once again, everyone, to this 2021 Education Partnership for Internationalizing Curriculum Symposium, EPIC. As Kate Kuhns mentioned, I'm Elizabeth Seinzackerman, the Associate Director of the Center for Latin American Studies at Stanford, and it is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker today. Cheryl Gibbs is the Senior Director of the Office of International and Foreign Language Education in the Office of Post-Secondary Education at the United States Department of Education in Washington, D.C. She oversees the policies and grant activities for 12 area studies, international studies, and modern foreign language training programs authorized under Title VI of the Higher Education Act of 1965, as amended, and the Mutual and Cultural Exchange Act of 1961, Fulbright-Hays. These programs are designed to develop global competencies, promote mutual understanding, and strengthen U.S. expertise to meet the ever-evolving national needs for global competitiveness. Cheryl earned a Bachelor of Science degree in English from Clarion University and a Master of Education degree in Curriculum Development and School Supervision from Westminster College. She holds the distinction of being the first African-American secondary school teacher hired in her hometown by the Sharon School District. She represents IFOL and informs the U.S. Department of Education about the relevance and impact that initiatives such as EPIC have in our schools, students, and society. After Cheryl's presentation, we will have a brief Q&A discussion moderated by my colleague, John Crosswitz, Associate Director of the Center for East Asian Studies. Please use the Zoom chat feature to write your questions. And with no further ado, please join me in welcoming Cheryl Gibbs.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that very gracious introduction. I appreciate this opportunity to participate in this symposium to offer a few observations about the emerging and unique role of community colleges and faculty in internationalizing post-secondary education. When I think about the word emerging, it suggests that something or someone or an event or a combination thereof is responding to change in order to thrive, to become more effective, and to remain relevant. The capacity to respond to change for the well-being of others is the storyline of the community college system and the community college narrative. From their inception 125 years ago to this present moment, community colleges have responded to a myriad of social, political, and economic challenges. This symposium celebrates the curriculum development projects created by 11 EPIC faculty fellows from diverse community colleges in your state and in other states. It is not a coincidence that the acronym for the fellowship program is self-defining. The Stanford Curriculum Partnership Initiative is great. The instructional impact on students and the benefit of faculty engagement and its scholarly endeavors will long endure. According to the American Association of Community Colleges, 1,167 community colleges are in the United States, and they enroll more than 12.4 million students and serve almost half of all undergraduate students in the United States. Moreover, 1 out of every 5 community college students in the United States attends a California community college. And more than 67% are students of color. California community colleges are also the largest provider of workforce education and training in the nation. It is also important and impressive that in 1907, the California community college system was the first in the United States to be established in statute, the upward extension law. So with all of that, your reputation for innovation and proactivity is solid. Community colleges offer a distinct learning environment. The high profile of community colleges and post-secondary education and the profile of global education in community colleges in particular is significant and important. The factors that foster the development of community colleges include academic and workforce training, social equality, economic considerations, and cultural mobility. All of these are fundamental to the strategic priorities of the United States Department of Education and to the International and Foreign Language Education Office that I oversee. Let's take a closer look at the factors through the lens of international education. Academic and workforce training. Throughout our history, certain milestones, and some people call these defining moments, have reminded us of the importance of international education and have prompted the US government to promote it for the greater good. In the wake of World War II, Congress created the J. William Fulbright programs for international education and exchange. The launch of Sputnik satellite in 1958 prompted legislation that created Title VI of the Higher Education Act. Then, just a few years later, President John F. Kennedy established the Peace Corps for US volunteers to serve for 2 years in developing nations. In more recent years, the 9/11 terrorist attack, migration crises, and the COVID-19 pandemic have brought into stark relief the relevance of international education and the need to continuously strengthen the infrastructure and pathways that help prepare Americans and diverse sectors to engage with the world. International education programs help to develop cross-cultural communication skills, competency in foreign language, as well as an enhanced self-awareness and a better understanding of other cultures and diverse perspectives. Individuals with global and cultural competencies are more adept at working effectively with counterparts with backgrounds different from their own, and are better prepared to thrive in an increasingly global market. International education and academic offerings help students understand the interdependence and interconnectedness between global systems. It also helps students gain deeper insights into how local events can have international ramifications and how that, it also helps students gain deeper insights into how local events can have international ramifications and how events that occur around the world can affect their own communities. In doing so, students develop their critical thinking skills by learning how to view issues and events from multiple cultural perspectives and to draw conclusions that take a range of viewpoints into consideration. Exposing students to a diversity of thoughts and experiences is a hallmark of international education in the U.S. education system. To ensure that students have adequate preparation for jobs that require higher education or workforce training, community college officials are working with employers to develop flexible, affordable, and relevant training programs that meet business and regional economic needs. The partnerships between businesses and community colleges can maximize workforce development strategies, job training programs, and ultimately job placement. Another factor that we consider, social equity. This means access, and this especially means access at the U.S. Department of Education. Our new Secretary of Education, Dr. Miguel Cardona, has made it clear that his commitment as Secretary of Education during his tenure is to provide access to all students to higher education, to K-12 education that is of high quality and that provides a learning experiences that exposes them to other cultures and prepares them for job placement. So speaking of social equality again, this means access to global studies courses, foreign language training, and affordable higher education for underrepresented and underserved students, who are typically students at community colleges and minority serving institutions. Enrolling in a community college allows students opportunities for social, cultural, and upward mobility and contributes to society. Community colleges offer a variety of degrees or certificates that prepare students for their first entry-level job. Community colleges also serve as an access point into a traditional university for students who plan to continue their education. When we think about economic factors, a community college education, again, allows students to have an affordable education. Attending the community college can offer a savings of thousands of dollars. The average cost of attending public community college is $2,713 a year. By comparison, The average cost of attending a public four-year college or university is about $8,000 a year. Cultural mobility and its place in international education, and especially community colleges. Teaching students about the values of cultural diversity allows them to be open to understanding other cultures and to embrace their own culture and identity more fully. This fosters a cultural, emotional, and intellectual freedom that motivates students. The 11 faculty who participated in the 2021 EPIC partnerships are exemplary individuals, both professionally and personally. What you have produced speaks to your integrity and commitment to international education, students, and your core values. In reading your bios and the descriptions of your curriculum projects, it is abundantly clear that you are not only a community of practice, but a community of interest and action. You share the same interest and passion about scholarship, and you reflect that you're people who are effecting change at your respective institutions. Effective international relation principles are embedded in the diverse topics and in your humanities and social sciences disciplines. You demonstrated a commitment to your subject area and to the strategic and operational dimensions of how the curriculum will be implemented. You demonstrated comparative views and perspectives that will foster sustained inquiry. And this is what students, not only at community colleges, but all students in classrooms across the nation, in higher education, secondary education, is very important to challenge them so that they have a desire, a thirst even, to think and to ask and to persist in their inquiries. Your topics provided comparative views and perspectives, again, that will foster sustained inquiry and to allow them to delve deeper into their view of the world. Your projects represented a connection to your peers and to your students. And most importantly, the collaboration, acknowledging that it shapes institutions and individuals. And in working through a year of pandemic and to produce these kinds of curriculum projects, it clearly shows that you considered the challenges of last year, not as challenges, but as opportunities. Congratulations on your achievement. You're making a difference locally, nationally, and globally. I wanted to go back and talk more about what is occurring at the U.S. Department of Education and our priorities. Again, I have been working with a working group at the U.S. Department of Education for the past 3 weeks, and I am pleased that in advocating for priorities in the Secretary's supplemental priorities, you may recall that when there's an administration change, the Secretary has the opportunity to announce the priorities that he wants to see implemented in the programs at the U.S. Department of Education. The international education programs have been absent from these priorities for years. And so I made it my commitment and my goal that I wanted him or his office and colleagues in the Department of Education to understand that global competencies should be among the highest priorities in the American education system. And so I was able to have a priority that focuses on promoting international education and global competencies to be added to the Secretary's priorities for the next 4 years. So not only will the Title VI programs and the Fulbright-Hays programs be able to implement those and make those front and center in our own work, but other programs across the department will see that international education and foreign language competencies are a priority of the U.S. Department of Education. And I'm working across the aisle with colleagues in the higher education programs such as Upward Bound and Gear Up and Talent Search and TRIO, so they will understand the importance of including these kinds of initiatives in their grant applications and in their policy statements. I would imagine that many of the community colleges that are currently participating in the programs that the department offers are reaching these students. And so the extent to which the faculty that are represented in the partnership, EPIC partnership, and their colleagues can really promote international education in their programs and in their schools, it will become even more of a priority for the next 4 years. So again, I congratulate you for the work that you've done in over this past year especially. And we look forward to working with the centers, the National Resource Centers, and the other programs that we administer to really find more synergies between what we do and the community colleges that you are serving. And I also might add that although a lot of Title VI programs legislatively do not on paper address community colleges, our policies certainly are focused on engaging community colleges and faculty engagement through what we do. I can say that the undergraduate International Studies and Foreign Language program, which is a Title VI program, we currently have 3 community colleges that are participating in that program. That program provides funds for community colleges and 4-year institutions to develop curriculum programs, certificate programs, a major or a minor, or to establish the first year of a foreign language program. And so we are supporting CUNY LaGuardia Community College, Massasoit Community College in Massachusetts, and Johnson County Community College in Kansas. So we're pleased about those initiatives. And then the centers that are represented on your campus are doing that, as are the other 99 national resource centers across the country, because we have put that priority that they engage with, collaborate with community colleges and minority serving institutions in their grant activities. And so we are seeing a major return on leveraging that policy, that priority. And this is about the 3rd cycle that we have included it in the grant applications. And we anticipate keeping it for the next cycle of NRC applications that is coming up very soon. So again, I appreciate this opportunity to join you. This has been a real honor for me, and I look forward to your questions.